Hello everyone, my name is Afreen Asmat and I welcome you all in today's revision video. So today we are going to discuss Unit 8 of Module A IE IFS, that is Foreign Trade Policy, Foreign Investments and Economic Development. So let's start discussing. First of all, let's talk about the foreign trade policy. What is a foreign trade policy, everyone? So foreign trade policy means those economic policies which are related with the import and export of the economy. Any policies which are related with the country's import and export, then these are called as the foreign trade policy. Next, when we are talking about the 1991 time period, see, you know that before 1991 we have a very restrictive foreign trade policy. We have a lot of restrictions in the import and export of the economy, right? But after the introduction of LPG policy, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, especially with the globalization, our domestic economy is actually integrated with the rest of the world. So we have introduced a different measure. We have introduced a different ways now. Right? So the foreign trade policies, when we are talking about the foreign trade policy after 1991, because of especially the globalization, we have seen a lot of liberalization. We have seen a lot of integration in our foreign trade policies. Okay, FDIs are invited to India, whereas our Indian companies were motivated to have business outside India, etc., etc. Right? Now, next thing, when we are talking about the next thing, when we are talking about the foreign trade policy, earlier there were five different schemes: focus product scheme, market linked focus product scheme, focus market scheme, agriculture infrastructure incentive scheme, Vishesh Krishi Gram Udyog Yojana. Then these five different schemes have been merged into single stream known as merchandise export from India scheme. Right? Now, when we are talking about this is very important. Remember, earlier there was five different scheme. Now these scheme has been merged into a single stream, which is known as the merchandise export from India scheme. Right? Now, there have been different measures which have been taken, especially for boosting the export of defense and high-tech defense product, right? Whereas e-commerce of handloom product, because you know that India have a very good market of handloom product, books, footwears, toys, customized product, these were actually included, and there was different benefit which has been given under the merchandise export incentive scheme. Then 108 approximately MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises clusters has been identified, and then the focus has been made to boost the export, right? So 108 MSME has been identified. Then there was different government sector scheme which has been merged into one scheme. Clear? Now next. Next is FDIs, foreign direct investment. So you know that inviting the foreign direct investment is one of the major part of the globalization. When we are talking about the FDIs means those investments which are made into another country, into foreign country with a view to acquire that particular company, with a view to hold some ownership in that particular company, that is called as foreign direct investment. And foreign direct investment is the key measure for the globalization. In globalization, when we are trying to connect our Indian economy with the rest of the economy, then this FDI, foreign direct investment, plays a very important and very major role in this. Right? Now, when we are talking about the foreign direct investment in India is allowed into two ways, or there are two methods or FDIs in India. First, there is the RBI's automatic route. Automatic route means where you don't have to take permission from anyone. Whereas there is a government rule. There are some sensitive areas as well as some sensitive countries that if that particular you can say FDI is coming from that country, you have to take the permission from the government. So that is the government rule. Now, this is very important part, that in which sector how much FDIs is allowed, plus what is the entry route, right? So this is a very important screenshot for all of you. And in this, I'm just taking the most important one, which you have to remember, especially. Like, for example, in agriculture, 100% is allowed through automatic route. Defense, 100% is allowed, right? In print media, only 26% is allowed, right? Next, if we talk about civil aviation, 100% FDIs are allowed. Then, if we talk about telecom services, 100% through the automatic route. E-commerce activity, 100% FDIs are allowed through the automatic route. Like, for example, railway infrastructure, 100% is allowed. Very important is banking, 74%, in which up to 49% is allowed through automatic route. Rest, between 49 to 74%, it is allowed through government route. Now, public sector bank, 20% FDIs are allowed through the government route. Credit information companies, 100% FDIs are allowed through automatic route. Then we have insurance, 74% through automatic route. Now it has been upgraded to 100% in budget 2025. Okay. Pension sector, 49% through automatic route. Okay. So remember, these are some of the important sectors in which how much percentage of FDIs are allowed and through which route. This is very important for you all to remember, right? Now, next, when we are talking about the type of FDI, very important, we have three types of FDI: greenfield, brownfield, and joint venture. What is a greenfield FDI? Greenfield FDI is when you, sorry, when you are trying to make investment from zero. You are investing in another country, but you are starting everything from scratch, everything from zero. Then it is called as greenfield foreign direct investment, right? Brownfield foreign direct investment. Now, what is brownfield foreign direct investment? Where you are investing in another country, but you are not building everything from the zero, from the ground, from the scratch. No, you are either taking over the old non-profitable company and just giving them the makeover and just try to run that company. Okay, so you are just acquiring the already existing company, right? Then it is called as brownfield investment. Like, for example, there is a, for example, you just take an example of, there is a big hotel chain, foreign hotel chain, who want to build some hotels in India. Now they have two ways: greenfield and brownfield FDI. Now, if they are taking the route of greenfield, it means that they have to build everything from the scratch. They buy the land, they just build the complete hotel, hire every new single staff, everything is new. Then it is called as greenfield FDI. Whereas, for example, they just do what? That company just acquire a hotel of another company in India, which is running in loss. They just rebrand it, give them makeover, do some renovation, and just use the already existing staff and run under their supervision. Then this is called as the brownfield FDI. But there is a joint venture when there is the foreign company joining hand with the Indian company. They both together agrees to share the profit and loss. Then it is called as joint venture. Like, for example, Honda, Japanese company, joined hand with Indian company Hero, and now they run the company like Hero Honda. They actually sharing the profit and loss in the market. That is called as the joint venture. So everything from the zero ground. Here you are already investing in the host country. You are not building everything from the scratch. And joint venture means you are joining hands to share the profit and loss. Clear? Now, These are the different sectors in which FDIs are prohibited. Very important, like lottery business, gambling, chit fund, nifty companies, 3DRs, real estates, activities, operations, etc. So these are FDIs, foreign direct investments, which are prohibited in India. Right now, foreign institutional investment is the investment when you are actually buying the shares of another company in another country with the view to just take the profit of the price differences of that particular share. You are not in the view to take the ownership of that company. You are just investing in the shares to increase your portfolio, or you just want to buy the share. When the share price is up, you just sell it and take your profit. So this is called as foreign institutional investment. FDI is done to take the ownership of that company, whereas FFIs, you are investing in the share just to take the profit, or just take the benefit from the price change, or you just have to diversify the portfolio. Then it is called as foreign institutional investment. Now, the difference between these two, yes, first of all, FDI, they goes directly into the production of goods and services, whereas if you are investing in the foreign institutional investment, you are just buying the equity shares, debentures of that company. FDI is done for long term because you are investing, taking the ownership of that particular company. Whereas FFIs, these are done for short term perspective, right? Next, FDIs, they contribute to the GDP because these are actually going into the production of goods and services. Whereas FFIs, they are not contributing in the GDP of the country, right? Now, FDIs are stable in nature. They are very volatile in nature. If you are investing in the stock, shares, debentures, right, to take the price benefit. So obviously these are risky. These are volatile in nature, right? When you are investing in the FDIs, you are seeing the government policies of that country, the taxation policies of that country. Means you are looking the macroeconomic profile of that company, whereas you are not judging any of these when you are just doing the FIIs, right? Now there are different type of FDIs like greenfield, brownfield, and joint venture. Whereas when we are talking about the foreign institutional investment, these are also called as hot money, and you can just take the form of hedge funds. Clear? So this is the difference between FDIs and FIIs, right? Now, last thing of this chapter is the difference between economic growth and development. Now, what is economic growth? Economic growth refers when you are just measuring the increase in the production of goods and services, then it is called as growth. Whereas development means you are measuring, you are increasing the living standard of the people. Your rank in the poverty index has been improved. Okay, human development index has been improved. You are providing quality education to the country. Then it is called as development. Development means you are measuring the quality of the living, whereas growth, you are measuring the quantity. So when you are just taking into consideration the amount of goods and services which is increases, it is called as growth. Whereas development means growing in terms of factors like you are reducing the poverty, you are removing the inequality, you are just reducing the unemployment of the country. So it is what? It is simple, a real increase in the national income. It is you are improving the quality of the life of people. It focuses on the production of goods and services, whereas they focuses on the distribution of the resources. Economic growth is single dimension because you are only judging quantity wise, whereas these are multi-dimensional. You are reducing the poverty, you are improving the living standard of the people, etc. Right? Growth comes before the development because when you are growing, when you are increasing in terms of production, goods and services, then you are earning money. Then this money is utilized for making the development of the country, right? So growth comes before the development and development comes after growth. Clear? Now, if we talk about the indicators, economic growth indicators like GDP, GNP, like per capita income, whereas indicators of economic developments are like human poverty index or human development index, etc. It generally leads to the increase in production. It helps in the increase in productivity. It is single dimension, so it is a narrow concept. It is a broader concept. Clear? So this is the difference between the economic growth and development. So this is the complete revision video. I hope that you have all understood this chapter completely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Have a very nice day. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Bye, guys. Take care.